So I get asked the question quite a bit by people that I introduce myself to, and then I introduce, what I believe in and my ideology, and then they ask me, how did you even get into this? Because I'm talking to people who's heard the ancient astronaut theory for the first time. A lot of people are blown away. They've never experienced anything quite as extravagant as an ancient astronaut theory. But anyways, long story short, a lot of people ask me, how did you get started into this? And I think that's what I'm going to touch on the most today. This is probably going to be the beginning of my story of how I got into the ancient astronaut theory. I've thought a lot about it, and I really don't think I was interested or knew about anything like this prior to 2004 when I actually started searching. And it wasn't like I went to the internet and tried to figure it out. I was born and raised in the Christian community. Um, my life was filled with scripture and the rules of the Bible and the ideology of the Bible, and really, if you stepped outside those lines, it was so drastic to the people I was living with. They couldn't comprehend why anybody would want to live outside the rules of this book right here. Fantastic book, excellent history book, excellent book of spirituality. If you want to source spirituality in here, lots of it, and a lot of fraudulent history. Constantine and Eusebius, Constantine and his little buddy Eusebius, and the cardinals of the Catholic Church, they constructed this. And that was really one of my first steps in learning that what I had learned as a child isn't the the stone tablets that you have to go and live by. So I asked myself the question, why would we listen to man talk about God? Why would man write something about what God would say, and we would have to listen to that man's writing? I didn't want to listen to a man, especially in the Catholic Church. You really, really pushed to trust in men. So I went back to the Bible and I started reading, and the very first thing I realized was that we were not the first thing on God's agenda. There was this thing called angels, and his angels pretty much did all of his bidding. Especially if you start to go into the history, if you start to research the history of angels and the history of the Bible, you really find out in the Old Testament, the angels did a lot of God's work for him. They were his hands and his materialistic beings to do his bidding for him. Now there are passageways in the Bible that specifically talk about God coming to earth and putting his hands on things. Those are early references from the Sumerian history, which later got filtered down into the Bible, where it was this anthropomorphic being that could come out of the sky and manifest himself into some ghostly thing. And that's not really what was what the Sumerians were talking about were physical people touching physical things and leaving their imprint physically on this planet. Anyways, let's get back to angels and my study of angels and my introductory to angels. I went to a Christian bookstore, and this wasn't just like a corner bookstore. This thing this place was a basically a warehouse for I believe the Eastern Synod of Southern Ontario or something like that. Basically, this warehouse was the place for churches to go to get boxes of Bibles and boxes of hymn books and boxes of literature for Sunday school and learning more of the biblical scripture and just all the other little things that go with the Christian ideology. I found this book. Actually, let's go back to what I was saying. I wanted to know. I kept asking myself, who knows God better than humans? And this brings me back to the angel thing that I was talking about. Angels did everything for him, so angels must know God and his agenda much better than humans. So I started to research angels. This is a dictionary of angels. I have a few other books. I'd have to go digging, dealing with this. But this was the one that really turned the page for me. From being a devoted Christian boy to falling off and being a little shit disturber, and then trying to find themselves later on in life. This is what turned me on to the ancient astronaut theory. Now, inside this book are hundreds and thousands of volumes of information about any type of angelic deity within the three major one God religions. So Hebrew, Muslim, and Christian angels are all in here. And everything can be traced all the way back to the very beginning of human history, human written history. The names, the way that the pantheons, what they're doing, what their specific duties are, and why they even exist, and what their purpose is for. Cherubs, everything is in here. And then there's a lot of stuff at the back, which is I would say probably magical or alchemy, along that lines, astronomical, possibly witchcraft. There are some spells and stuff like that are here in this book. All the fallen angels are in here, so there's a lot of satanic references in here. Some of the satanic references are in here. That's all I can really remember about this without actually reading it all over again and researching. But anyways, that book basically threw me right into the ancient astronaut theory, because what I did was I started researching on the internet the names that I was pulling out of here, and it was coming all the way back to the Sumerians, which led me to the ancient astronaut theory, and then here I am today making silly videos and posting them about my past and how I got involved in all of this. But honestly, when I think about it, it's not my inquisition about what is what. I think what it was really I was searching for is to finalize where I should put my spirituality. I've been a martial artist my whole life, so I know that there is an inner spirit. I know that there is a key, some type of inner power. Because if there wasn't, then I wouldn't have been able to break boards with my hands or my feet. People just don't, you can't just walk up and punch a 2x4 and go right through it. You have to spiritually and mentally prepare yourself for that, and believing. And that's the key to all of this. Believing. That's why Edgar Cayce, when he was asked, "Oh, is Jesus Christ real?" Not once did he say, "Oh yes, Jesus Christ is real." He said, "Whatever you do, do not stop believing in a Jesus Christ." Because that belief is just as powerful as somebody preparing themselves to punch through a 2x4. And this is how I got to where I am today. I try to reach out to as many people as I can about the ancient astronaut theory. I think when you combine science and religion or history, I think this is basically, when you put the two together, this is what you get. You get it so it works both ways. And that's the beautiful thing about the ancient astronaut theory, is there's not one set rule. In academic science, well, they've painted themselves into a corner. Everything is terrestrial. There is no room for outside intervention, whether that outside intervention is divine or extraterrestrial. Everything on the earth has to be made on the earth, because that's where science starts. It starts with evolution and filters out through there. Along the way, people are starting to realize that, oh my goodness, there's things that needs to be fixed here. And that creates rifts and problems within the academic community. And then people like us, we do our research and we talk to each other, and we pull information from wherever we can, and we try to make sense of it. And then we get excited, and we maybe think the academic field would be interested, or the religious field would be interested in, but they are a one-way street. You know what I mean? They don't have that open field that we wander around in and make crop circles. Anyways, that's just a little blurb about myself, and why I do this, and how I do this, and how long I've been doing this. And I encourage everyone to open their mind, read, watch, and listen, and then make the decisions for yourself. Thank you, and have a great day.